Fallout Season 2 just revealed something horrifying. The Ghoul is less than a day away from losing his mind. Episode 6 quietly proves that if Walton Goggins' character Cooper Howard goes even a few hours without his medication, ferality doesn't creep in. It takes over. And the scariest part? Fallout shows us that the end isn't violence or death. It's forgetting who you are. Once you see what this episode actually confirms, you'll realize the Ghoul is no longer protected. He's on a ticking clock. This video breaks down why Fallout Season 2, Episode 6 is one of the most important episodes in the entire series. We'll explain what the show just confirmed about Ghoul ferality, why Walton Goggins' character Cooper Howard is far more vulnerable than fans realized, how the anti-feral medication changes Fallout lore, and why this episode secretly turns the Ghoul into a walking countdown rather than an untouchable icon. By the end, you'll see why this wasn't just a rescue scene. It was a warning. Say it ain't so, but Fallout just did. Fallout Season 2 doesn't announce its biggest revelations with explosions or villain monologues. It does something far more dangerous. It lets you watch a character unravel, slowly enough that you don't realize what's happening until it's almost too late. Episode 6 quietly proves that the Ghoul is not slowly drifting toward ferality. He is standing right at the edge, and the drop is measured in hours, not years. For a long time, the audience believed in an unspoken exception. Yes, Fallout's world is cruel. Yes, ghouls eventually lose themselves. But the Ghoul felt different, not immune to suffering but narratively protected. Too sharp, too funny, too essential to ever truly fall. We assumed he'd always step back from the edge, because Fallout wouldn't dare take that away. Episode 6 exists to remind us how wrong that assumption was. In the world of Fallout, ghoulification is not a gift, it's a delay. Radiation grants longevity, resilience, and survival in the wasteland. But it also plants a ticking psychological time bomb. Ghouls don't immediately lose their minds. They remain themselves until they don't. Ferality is not a switch that flips overnight, but it is a force that never stops pushing. What Fallout Season 2 finally clarifies is something far more terrifying. Resisting ferality is not about strength of will alone. It's about access, and once that access is gone, even someone like Cooper Howard has almost no time left. We've seen the Ghoul without his anti-feral medication before. In Season 1, Episode 4, he collapses, drooling, barely able to move. In Season 2, Episode 3, he hacks and coughs violently until the remnants of the New California Republic give him more vials. In those moments, the danger seemed physical: pain, weakness, bodily failure. Episode 6 changes the rules. After attempting to betray Lucy McLean under orders from Hank McLean, the Ghoul is blasted out of a New Vegas hotel window by a power fist. Lucy likely didn't intend to kill him, but what follows is arguably worse. He's impaled on a pole, immobilized, isolated, and separated from the one thing keeping his mind intact. His bag of medication lands just out of reach. Fallout doesn't rush this moment. It lets time do the damage. At first, the changes are subtle. Sounds escape him that he doesn't intend to make. Hissing, snarling, guttural noises that feel less human and more instinctual. His body begins to twitch and spasm without his consent. His fingers curl unnaturally, stiffening into shapes that resemble claws. These are not dramatic transformations meant to shock. They're quiet violations. His body is no longer waiting for instructions. And the most important detail? This is still daylight. The same daylight he fell in. That means it hasn't been long. Not days, not even a full day. Just hours. As night falls, the deterioration accelerates. The spasms become violent. The sounds ripping from his throat are fully animalistic, primal, uncontrolled. He struggles to breathe between fits. And then comes the moment that devastates both him and the audience, because we recognize it. The Ghoul begins to speak to himself. I am a human being. My name is Cooper. My name is Cooper Howard. I have a daughter. Her name is Janie. She's alive. This isn't nostalgia. This isn't exposition. This is a cognitive survival tactic. We've seen this ritual before, with the first feral ghoul, the ghoul himself, euthanized earlier in the series. The same repetition, the same desperate anchoring of memory before it slips away. Fallout isn't just showing us what ferality looks like from the outside, it's showing us what it feels like from the inside. The terror of knowing you're losing yourself and fighting anyway. And here's the crucial point. It works, but only partially. The affirmations slow the collapse, but they don't stop it. Memory buys him time, not salvation. Without his medication, ferality is no longer theoretical. It's actively advancing. This single scene reframes everything, because Fallout isn't saying that all ghouls inevitably go feral on a fixed schedule. It's saying something more precise and far more frightening. Ferality is probabilistic. Some ghouls resist longer than others. Some last centuries, but none are guaranteed safety. And once decline begins, it can be terrifyingly fast. Based purely on visual continuity, daylight to nightfall, the show implies less than a full day passes while the ghoul is impaled. That's not a precise number, but it doesn't need to be. The message is clear. Deprivation doesn't slowly weaken him. It rapidly destabilizes his mind, which means the anti-feral medication is no longer optional. It's not a preventative measure anymore. It's life support for his consciousness. And that changes everything about how we should view the ghoul going forward. He isn't a tank. He isn't an unstoppable gunslinger. He is the most vulnerable main character in the series, because his greatest weakness doesn't require violence to exploit. Anyone who understands this could remove him from the board without firing a shot. Just deny him access. Wait. Let time do the rest. This also has massive implications for Fallout lore. The anti-feral medication does not exist in the games. It's a show-only invention, and that makes it one of the most important narrative tools the series has introduced. It proves ferality is chemically resistible, temporarily. It does not cure ghoulification. It does not reverse ferality once it's complete. It only holds the line, and Fallout would not introduce that concept unless it wanted us asking dangerous questions. If ferality can be delayed, could it be reversed? If cognition can be preserved, could it be restored? We've already seen ambiguous transformations, like Thaddeus, conditioned in Season 1, which may involve ghoulification or exposure to the forced evolutionary virus. We've seen precedent in the games. Characters like John Hancock willingly becoming ghouls through experimental means. Fallout is clearly laying groundwork. Whether that leads to a cure, a failed experiment, or something far darker remains to be seen. Which brings us to the question that now hangs over the entire series. Will the ghoul go feral? Probably not in Season 2. Fallout isn't rushing this tragedy, it's slow cooking it. Ferality is no longer a distant fear. It's a shadow that follows him into every scene. Every time he reaches for his vials, we'll know what happens if he doesn't. Every separation starts a clock we can't unsee. And thematically, this places him in direct contrast with Lucy. Lucy represents preserved identity, vault-protected humanity, morality enforced by structure. The ghoul represents survival without safety nets, humanity maintained only through memory, pain, and constant effort. Episode 6 quietly positions them as opposing answers to the same question. What does it cost to stay human in the wasteland? Fallout didn't just show us how close the ghoul is to going feral. It showed us that the end isn't dramatic. It's forgetting your name, and that may be the cruelest fate Fallout has ever put on the table.